The Jack Brown Produce Packing Facility started in 1960 between area growing families and Jack and Alita Brown. With the advent of the chain stores in the 1950s, it became apparent that those of us on our individual operations could no longer compete on the volume that the chain stores needed. So what was decided among the growing community was that perhaps they ought to throw in together, build a central packaging plant and sales agency to handle the growers' fruit and better meet the needs of our customers. The majority of the volume that comes through the Jack Brown Produce Packing Facility comes from the Ridge area here in western Michigan, produced by area growers.
Our proximity to Jack Brown Produce is important to us because it's close, and therefore we can get apples down here in a very timely fashion.
Generally, probably within 4 to 5 hours, the apples that we picked are on a truck and headed to the facility. It can probably be on store shelves in a day, day and a half at tops.
I think the quicker you can get apples here and not have them out in the open and back in the cooler again is also an advantage to the customer. It gives them a better product.
People want to know where their food is coming from. They want to have a degree of assurance that is it being produced by local families because they know local families. And what they're looking for perhaps is something closer to the source than what they've been getting in the past.
Jack Brown Produce is a tremendous organization, a grower-owned organization. I think at the top of local is grower-owned.
I think growers that supply local markets feel an obligation to supply a quality product.
If we handle apples from local growers, that's where you get your quality, I feel anyway. Locally grown is very, very important, very big, because the consumer is finally getting a fresh product, you know, and that's what it's all about.
West Michigan grows the best tasting apples in the world.
I feel that Michigan apples are better than most other states' apples because of where we're located, because of this region, because of the ridge. We have the climate here that is very conducive to a quality product.
Single families that own these operations have owned these operations for generations and take an enormous amount of pride in what they do. They believe in what they do and they love what they do. Father to son, generation to generation.
Where the packing shed sits has been in the family for over 100 years. Growing apples on the farm has been the best place to raise a family that I can imagine.
My grandfather, I worked with him until I was about 30 years old, and he was born in 1901. His father was probably the earliest generation, going back into the late 1800s.
I'm the 5th generation grower. My son will be 6th. My dad obviously 4th. He'll be 80 in March of this year. He's still very active on the farm.
It's been a real privilege to work, again, having all the years working with my grandfather and my son now working with my father. That's a very unique situation. The balance is a privilege that most people would envy, I would think.
At the Jack Brown Produce Packing Facility, we specialize. We have the volume, we have the ability to adapt, we have the ability to package in any configuration. We pack to order. Your order comes in the day before or in the morning, we pack it that day, we ship it that evening, you have it the next day.
The fresher the better on any produce.
Buying locally is where it's at.
It's just good to consume local stuff. It's just a win-win for both sides.